When the flash fades, the silence feels louder than the explosion ever was. No sirens, no cars, no birds, just wind and dust that used to be cities. People think the end comes with fire. It doesn't. It comes with shadow. A few hours after the blast, the sky begins to change. Ash climbs into the atmosphere, miles high, thick enough to swallow the sun. Daylight turns to bruised twilight, then to night, a permanent night. Temperatures start to fall. The wind carries not warmth, but particles of glass, bone, and burnt metal. You breathe it in without knowing. It coats your skin, your clothes, your hope. This is the start of nuclear winter. Not a metaphor, not a myth. It's physics, written in fallout. The sun disappears behind a planet-sized smoke cloud, and the Earth begins to cool faster than your body can adapt. Inside, everything looks the same, at first. Your lights flicker. The fridge hums its last note. You tell yourself the power will come back. It won't. The grid is gone. The world just rebooted in hard mode. You check your phone. No signal. You check the news. Nothing but emergency alerts that sound like panic made digital. And somewhere outside, the snow that isn't snow begins to fall. Each flake of ash carries trace radiation. Invisible, odorless, deadly in slow motion. Touch it, breathe it, drink it, and the clock starts ticking. You won't feel it yet. Radiation is patient. It waits for your cells to divide before it begins to erase them. That's why the first rule of nuclear winter isn't about food, or fire, or even water. It's shelter. Every second you spend outside is a gamble against math you can't see. Find walls, find depth. Basements, parking garages, underground tunnels. Anywhere the earth can stand between you and the sky. Seal the cracks. Duct tape. Plastic wrap. Trash bags. Towels. You're not decorating. You're filtering death. Every opening is an invitation for ash. And every breath you save now buys you time you can spend later. Outside, the wind keeps howling, carrying pieces of the world it just destroyed. Inside, it's quiet. Too quiet. You'll hear your heartbeat echo in the dark. That's how you'll know you're still alive. The sun won't rise tomorrow, maybe not for months. But right now, survival isn't about hope. It's about math, distance, and insulation. Because the sky has turned black, and you're not fighting the bomb anymore. You're fighting the winter it left behind. The first day isn't about rebuilding. It's about not dying. The flash came and went, a second of light brighter than the sun, then darkness so heavy it feels solid. People who were outside never even saw the bomb. They just became part of the landscape. But you're still breathing, which means the real fight starts now. When the flash fades, the fallout begins. Tiny fragments of vaporized earth, metal, and human ash rise miles into the air, then start drifting down. Quiet, invisible, and lethal. It looks like snow. It's not. Each speck carries radiation strong enough to burn through skin cells, shred DNA, and rewrite the body from the inside out. And that's why you don't go outside. Not yet. Not for days. The danger isn't in the blast anymore. It's in the dust. Fallout is the ghost of the explosion, and it follows the wind. It doesn't care about cities or borders. It only obeys gravity. So if you can see the ash falling, it's already too late to run. Rule number 1, shelter is survival. You don't need a bunker, you just need barriers. Concrete, brick, even packed dirt cuts radiation by over 90%. So you go deep, not far, basements, subways, parking garages. Every foot of earth between you and the sky is one more layer of life insurance. Close vents, seal windows, plastic wrap, tape, towels, trash bags. It doesn't matter what it looks like, only that air can't move freely. Fallout doesn't kick down the door. It drifts in. Your job is to make sure it dies outside. Next, water. Cover it, seal it, protect it. Anything left uncovered will collect fallout like dust on furniture. Even open containers inside can catch contamination if you leave them near windows or vents. You can live weeks without food, but not without clean water. Protect every drop. If you were caught outside when it fell, strip your clothes, bag them, leave them far from your shelter. Then wash, not gently, thoroughly. Radiation hides in creases, under nails, in hair. Soap, water, friction. If you don't have soap, use ash, dirt, or sand. You're not cleaning for comfort, you're scraping off death. And finally, stay put. Don't go searching for news, supplies, or friends. Not yet. The first 48 hours are the deadliest. Radiation levels drop fast at first, half gone after 1 day, 75% after 2. That's the math that decides who lives long enough to regret it. The hardest part is doing nothing, sitting still while the world ends outside your door. But that's survival, not heroism, not courage, just patience wrapped in plastic and duct tape. Because right now, the only thing between you and invisible death is distance, silence, and time. Stay inside. Stay sealed. The flash is over, but the fallout has just begun. The second day feels colder. Not because you're imagining it, but because the planet actually is. The sun is gone, hidden behind a wall of ash thick enough to blot out hope. What's left of daylight looks like the inside of a dying flashlight, gray, weak, and flickering. You start to see your breath. Inside. That's when you realize the cold isn't coming. It's already here. Nuclear winter doesn't wait for seasons. It doesn't creep in politely like autumn. It slams the atmosphere shut, turns blue sky into a lid. The temperature drops 30 degrees in hours, and the wind becomes the messenger of extinction. Outside, the ash drifts down like dirty snow. Each flake carries poison, but that's not what kills you first. It's the air, dry, thin, empty. The radiation fades, but the cold takes its place. Here's what you do. You seal the warmth before it escapes. Close off rooms you don't need. Hang blankets over doorways. Stuff clothing or rags under every crack. Insulation isn't comfort, it's survival math. Forget the thermostat. The power's gone. Forget the fireplace. Smoke will give away your position or pull in fallout. You can't burn wood, not safely. But you can trap heat. You can build layers. Start with your body. 2 pairs of socks, multiple shirts, a trash bag over your torso. Plastic traps air, and air traps heat. It doesn't look smart, but it works. You're not dressing for style, you're dressing for endurance. The floor steals warmth faster than air. Lay cardboard or blankets beneath you if you sleep. Even a towel buys you another hour of comfort. Remember, the ground is a thief. Don't let it rob you. Your breath fogs up the air around you. That moisture will make you colder over time. Crack a tiny vent, just enough to let it escape. Condensation is the quiet killer in cold shelters. Wet air turns into frost, and frost turns your lungs into ice. Eat small, frequent meals if you have them. Food equals internal fire. Sip water even if you're not thirsty. Dehydration sneaks in faster in cold. The human body is a furnace, but it needs fuel. Keep feeding it, even crumbs. At night it gets worse. The cold isn't just temperature anymore, it's pressure. It presses on your ribs, your mind, your will to move. You'll want to sleep through it. Don't. That's how the cold wins. Move. Even if it's just shifting your weight, clenching your fists, tightening your muscles. Every motion is heat. Every second you keep blood flowing is another second the cold doesn't claim you. By the end of day 3, you'll stop waiting for the sun. You'll start waiting for sound. Any sign the world is still alive outside your walls. But until that happens, remember this. You don't fight the cold with fire. You fight it with discipline. By the fourth day, the silence has a sound. It hums through the walls, a low metallic pressure that feels like the world is holding its breath. Outside, the wind is still moving, but it's not carrying weather anymore. It's carrying dust. Fallout doesn't scream. It whispers, a dry hiss that sneaks through cracks, vents, and keyholes. You can't see it, you can't smell it. But every breath is a coin toss. Your lungs are filters, and by now, they're working overtime. The ash that once blotted out the sun is drifting down, finding ways inside. Microscopic particles, tiny enough to pass through screens, stubborn enough to cling to skin. One inhale too many, and you've invited death home for dinner. So now, the mission changes. You're not protecting warmth anymore. You're protecting air. Seal what you missed. If light can get through a crack, so can radiation dust. Layer wet towels under doors. Hang plastic sheets across hallways. Even a curtain soaked in water becomes a filter, a small, damp wall between you and the apocalypse. Then build your mask. You don't need gas filters or hazmat suits. You need ingenuity, a folded t-shirt layered with paper towels, a bandana soaked in clean water, a scarf wrapped twice around the mouth and nose. It won't stop everything, but it stops enough. Because right now, enough is all survival ever means. Your lungs burn, not from exercise, but fear. The air tastes stale, recycled too many times inside a closed room. The temptation will come, to open a window just for a minute, to feel something that isn't you. Don't. The outside world doesn't want you yet. Instead, filter the inside one. Fill bowls or buckets with water near windows and doors. The vapor traps dust. Damp sheets hanging across a room will collect fallout faster than your lungs ever could. You'll know they're working when they start to gray. That's not dirt. That's everything trying to kill you, caught in cotton instead of your bloodstream. By now, the radiation levels are beginning to drop. The clock is turning in your favor. Every hour that passes means fewer particles, weaker doses, a thinner poison. The danger is still there, but it's fading, like smoke after a fire. If you've made it this far, you're winning by waiting. But patience costs clarity. You'll start to feel dizzy. You'll wonder if it's hunger or air or madness. Doesn't matter. Keep breathing slow. Keep breathing through something. Because the air outside is still whispering your name, and you've survived too much to answer. By day 5, the body stops asking politely. Hunger becomes a voice. Low, constant, persuasive. It doesn't shout anymore. It whispers. It tells you that one more bite could make the world hurt less. That maybe, if you eat something, anything, you'll feel alive again. But the shelves are empty, and the world outside is still poison. You were smart enough to stay inside. Now you have to be smarter than your stomach. The first rule of famine: you don't eat to feel full. You eat to continue functioning. Every calorie is a unit of time. You're not having a meal, you're buying minutes of life. Find what's sealed: cans, bags, boxes. Ignore expiration dates. They're printed for comfort, not survival. If it's dry, if it's sealed, if it doesn't smell like death, it's food. Canned beans, tuna, soup, even dog food, if it's all that's left. It's protein. It's fuel. It's dignity in disguise. You can debate flavor when the sun comes back. If the labels are gone and the contents are questionable, test with your senses. Smell. Touch. Look. If it's swollen or hissing, don't risk it. Botulism doesn't care how brave you are. Next rule: eat slow. Let every mouthful count. You're not feeding a craving, you're fueling a machine. Chew longer. Swallow slower. Trick your brain into thinking you've eaten enough. It's psychology, not nutrition. But right now, psychology keeps you alive. Don't waste energy cooking. Don't burn through fuel for warmth or taste. Cold food is still food. And the fewer calories you spend on comfort, the more you keep for survival. If your stomach hurts, that's good. It means it's still working. The pain reminds you you're not empty, not yet. And remember, thirst will trick you. Dehydration feels like hunger. Drink water first. Wait 10 minutes. Half the time that craving fades. Your body's not starving, it's just confused. By the 5th day, your mind starts to drift. You'll imagine smells that don't exist. Bread, smoke, warmth. You'll dream about buffets that melt away when you reach for them. That's not madness. That's memory trying to comfort you. But you can't eat memories, so you ration what's left. 2 meals a day becomes 1. 1 becomes half. Half becomes a handful. And when you can't find anything else, you turn to the scraps, the crumbs in the corners, the sugar stuck to a jar, the last drop of honey. Because survival isn't about strength. It's about redefinition. You don't live off food anymore. You live off discipline. You're not eating to survive the day. You're eating to earn the next one. By day 6, the silence starts to talk back. It echoes through the walls, crawls into your ears, and rearranges your thoughts. You begin to realize the noise of the world was a comfort you never noticed. Now there's only you, and the hum of your own heartbeat. The hunger, the cold, the fear, those were physical. You could see them. You could fight them. But isolation? It's invisible. It kills slower and cleaner. Your mind starts to drift in circles. You count the cracks in the wall. You whisper to the dark, not for company, but just to remember how your voice sounds. The quiet feels heavy, like gravity has doubled. Time stops moving in minutes and starts moving in thoughts. This is where most people lose. Not to radiation, not to cold, but to their own reflection. The brain is a storyteller, and without an audience, it turns inward. It replays every mistake, every word you wish you'd taken back. It invents voices just to argue with. That's not insanity, that's adaptation. Because the human mind would rather hear lies than hear nothing. Here's what you do. You build structure. You make rules, even if no one's left to enforce them. Wake up, move, clean, write, repeat. Turn time into a schedule, not a sentence. Even when there's nothing left to do, pretend there is. Journal everything, every thought, every noise, every plan. Writing is proof that your mind is still anchored, that you still exist beyond the silence. If you have a radio, turn it on, even if the static is endless. Static means the world still hums. It means there's electricity somewhere, and electricity means someone else might still be alive. Hope doesn't need confirmation. It just needs a possibility. Talk out loud, say your name, read the labels on cans, narrate your own survival if you have to. Words keep the human parts of you from freezing. And if you start seeing things, shadows moving, whispers in the corner, don't panic. That's your brain trying to fill the silence. Thank it, and move on. The hallucinations aren't your enemy. Hopelessness is. By the end of the 6th day, the loneliness will feel like a second body. Something that follows you, breathes beside you, and waits for you to give up. Don't. You've made it 6 days through the end of the world. That's not luck. That's will. You're not surviving for rescue anymore. You're surviving to prove you can. Because in nuclear winter, the hardest battle isn't against the elements. It's against the echo of your own voice asking, why keep going? And the answer is because you already are. By day 7, the panic fades. Not because things are better, but because you finally stopped expecting them to be. The world outside is still silent. The sky still bleeds gray. But something inside you changes. You stop waiting for the sun. You stop waiting for rescue. You start waiting for yourself. The fear that once screamed now speaks softly, like background noise. It's not gone, just familiar. You've learned its shape, its rhythm, its taste. You've stopped fighting to get back to before, because before isn't coming back. This is after. This is now. The air is a little cleaner. The fallout dust has settled, heavy and tired. Each day that passes makes it weaker, less alive. You still don't breathe deep, but you breathe easier. The cold still bites, but you know where to hide from its teeth. You know which walls keep warmth and which ones steal it. You know how to eat less, move less, and still stay alive. That's not desperation anymore. That's efficiency. Step outside, if you dare. Do it slow. Open the door like you're meeting an old god. Let the wind touch your face. It feels colder than it should, but cleaner than it did. Ash still drifts through the air, but it doesn't burn your throat anymore. It just falls, like exhausted snow. Look at the world. It's not gone, just muted. The colors are wrong, the silence too deep. But there's still shape, still structure, still something left to rebuild. Find water, not from the sky, from sealed containers from what you stored. If you've run out, collect condensation, melt clean snow. Boil it. Wait. Drink slow. Your body will feel it like fire in your veins. You've earned that warmth. Food's running low, you know that. But the fear of running out doesn't control you anymore. You've learned to stretch crumbs into days, to find meaning in motion, to survive without comfort. That's the secret no prepper talks about. Survival isn't about what you have. It's about what you can endure. 7 days ago, the sky was blue, and you believed it always would be. Now it's black, and you've learned how to live under it. That's evolution, written in dust and silence. If you've made it this far, the worst has already happened. You've outlived the flash, the fallout, the hunger, and the loneliness. You are the proof that humanity doesn't end with noise. It ends with a whisper that refuses to die. Because this isn't the end of the world. It's the start of the kind of world that tests who deserves to stay. And you're still here.